Come on, Marvel, you've done it again. Just as I'm starting to lose interest, you pull me right back in. Hello viewers, welcome back to Media 13. My name is Jordan, and if you watched last week's video, you'll know that I was really not a fan of Thor Love and Thunder. And I talked to someone who really did not have a whole lot of faith going forward for the future of the MCU. I think I can safely say that those words are on the back burner for now following Miss Marvel. Despite the majority of it airing before Love and Thunder's premiere, I had watched episode 1 on its premiere day. I didn't watch anything else after that though, call it superhero fatigue or just something else, but I decided I was going to binge watch the entire limited series on the day that the finale aired, and when I eventually did, I was blown away. It's no hyperbolic statement for me to tell you right now that this show injected some much needed energy into my current view of the MCU. Real quick, just in case I have people upset with the power change, I hear you. I understand that it's maybe not the nicest to have your characters go through changes when they're adapted into a different form of media. Note the word different. I just truly could not care less. I'm sorry. This is probably the only Marvel show to utilise the 6-episode structure well. I can make a case for Loki, but with that being confirmed for a second season that's going to be continuing the same arc, I kind of find it difficult to hold them both together. Iman Vellani, and I apologise if I've butchered the pronunciation of that name, is electric as Kamala, and I don't think I've ever seen someone cast in the MCU take this much energy and run with it. She is lovable and charming, and being honest, she might be one of the best castings the MCU has, period. I adore that this show is able to take Kamala and place her at the centre of the story, whilst also keeping this side roster of characters that feel just as fleshed out. The show rarely misses. The comedy works on this level that is established within the show, and I would like to make a bold statement real quick. I think people who have hated the comedy or the vibe of this show, or have completely missed out on the vibe or the comedy of this show because they decided they don't want to watch it based on that, have to rethink their view on Spider-Man Homecoming. Reason being, in my opinion, they both shared a similar tone, and while yes, Homecoming lacks the stylization of Miss Marvel, both do share that awkward, almost intentional cringe type of humour. I think even in regards to the villains, I wasn't overly blown away by them, but I think in the relevance to Kamala's story, I prefer that this is how her show played out, as opposed to having a big bad reveal itself, as I feel like that's where the other shows, Loki aside, have fumbled in some regard. I think it's more than safe to say at this point that Miss Marvel is 100% my favourite Marvel Disney Plus show, and I love WandaVision and Loki, but this one just nails everything. I mean it when I say this feels like the most seamless introduction of a character since the start of Phase 4. Everything works perfectly, and what also makes this just a leap above the rest is that as well as Kamala's newfound power being a crucial part of the show, the idea of family and this family unit is just as important within the plot, and I love that. I mean, come on, like, look at me. I am not the type of person to be sitting here talking to you about whether I think the representation is good or whether I think the representation of, these communities or this religion is done well. But just look at the Marvel fandom as a whole right now. The people that are part of these religions that are represented in Miss Marvel are all very happy with it. I'm yet to see any sort of statement saying that it feels underwhelming, and do not get me wrong, I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying that at least from what I can tell, the sort of reception to that compared to Moon Knight's feels overly positive. And that's great, that genuinely feels like a step in the right direction for Marvel. Again, before I finish off, I just want to circle back to a previous criticism that I sort of touched upon at the start of the video, and this one's really been prevalent since the finale aired. I never saw it talked about beforehand, and that's because it's the revelation that Kamala is a mutant. I'm aware that in the comics that she is an Inhuman, which is apparently different from a mutant because they have a mutation but they're not mutants. I'm also aware that the MCU is not a retelling of the comic books, rather an adaptation of existing material into a new form of storytelling, which is films from comic books. Now just hear me out here, because maybe I'm being crazy. I think that rather than nitpick these changes that aren't going to ruin the character, especially when these changes were they honour the original intent of the character, we should be grateful for the quality of this show and the consistency of this show. Because mutant, Inhuman, whatever the fuck the Jinn thing was. The bottom line is, and I'm gonna say this loud and clear, Kamala Khan was a great fucking character. Kamala Khan is a great fucking character. And Miss Marvel is one hell of a show. And it's easily Marvel's best yet. So those have been my thoughts on Miss Marvel. I want to know what you thought, so feel free to get down in the comments below, leave it a star rating out of 5, and also let me know what your favourite episode was. Also, who's excited for the Marvels coming out next year? I know I am. If you did enjoy this video, you can leave a like and let us know I'm doing something right with the content. I've not worked out any content for next month apart from the last month I watched the episode, but I'm going to be working on that from now. But yeah, if you don't want to miss out on the next video, you can also hit that subscribe button and feel free to share these videos online or with your friends. It really helps this channel be seen more as we try and somehow push for 1,000 subscribers, as unlikely as it seems. But until I next see you, my name has been Jordan. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I'll see you all in the next one.